Nigeria is a country blessed with both human and natural resources. It is endowed with fertile land that can produce any crop. In 1960, agriculture was the strength of Nigeria's economy. Today, Nigeria has resorted to importing food products prior to the discovery of oil, which has changed the narrative and caused a regression in agriculture. Plateau State is known to be a state of variety. The state is blessed with rich mineral resources, beautiful tourist centers, cultural festivals, and a good favorable weather and climate conditions. Though situated in the tropical zone, Plateau State has a near-temperate climate. The climate conditions of the Jos Plateau allows modern plant breeding and livestock farming.
Plateau State is actually involved in agricultural activities from the aspect of livestock production, from the large ruminants to small ruminants and even the macro livestock.
Livestock farming is one of the oldest economic activities of a man, started by early men. It guarantees food supply and other animal products without going to the forest to hunt. The practices have largely shifted to intensive animal farming. It is also sometimes called factory farming, and over 99% of livestock are now raised in Plateau State, one of which is rabbit farming.
Rabbit is a macro livestock, and it is a very viable industry. However, it is unpopular. It is unpopular because not everybody appreciates the value of the product emanating from the rabbit. A lot of people keep rabbit as pet animals. Only few people appreciate it from the protein value. But gradually, people are beginning to appreciate rabbit even as medicinal protein source.
You need to have at least the female, which is called a doe, and then the male, which is a buck. So if you have a male and that's the doe and the buck, that at least you have. So the facilities, for now, we keep them in cages. Before now, people just allow them to roam about or keep them in rooms and things like that. But these are animals that are destructive in nature, because even the wood we use, they try to chew on it. And if the floor is not strong enough, they burrow, they make holes in them, and they eat anything that they see around. So you know that at least before you know it, the whole place is destroyed or tampered with. And what we do now is to try to see that there's a wire mesh under, whereby their litter, their everything, the urine goes out without staying on the base. Because if you do that, they're susceptible to diseases and all that. So they are clean animals.
For over 4 decades, Nigeria's economy has heavily depended on crude oil exports. The oil boom of the 1970s led Nigeria to neglect its agricultural and light manufacturing industries. In 2002, oil and gas export account for more than 98% of export earnings and about 83% of government revenue.
Rabbit, known by many to be one of the most beautiful creatures to behold, have a soft and fluffy appearance. It accentuates the indescribable beauty that exists in nature.
Some people keep rabbits as pets, those who are pet lovers. Some other people keep them as consumables. For us, yeah, there are those particular ones, like the Angoras, they are for pets. So some pet lovers come and buy them as pets. while for us, every rabbit is just meat.
There are more than 30 species around the world, and while they live in many different environments, they have many things in common. Some of the species found in Jos Plateau State are New Zealand, chinchilla, angora, and many more.
We, on our farm, we have about 10 breeds. These breeds have different purposes. There are those that are identified for meat, which are the New Zealand, the Californias, because of their body size. They have more meat in terms of when you're comparing meat to bone ratio. Their meat ratio is usually higher than the other breeds. So that's why a lot of farmers usually demand for the New Zealand, the California, and then the standard chinchillas, those ones that carry a lot of meat on their body.
Rabbits are known for their reproductive habits for good reason. They breed 3 to 4 times each year to ensure that the population grows. Each pregnancy produces 3 to 8 kittens or kits. After 4 to 5 weeks, a kit can care for itself. In 2 or 3 months, it is ready to start a family of its own. If there is a lack of natural predators, an area can quickly become overrun with rabbits.
They multiply easily, and so like one rabbit can give you 10, 40, little ones in a year. So if you have one rabbit and it litters today, maybe gives you 4, and then out of the 4 you have 2 females. Those are the does. Then you know what? In 5 or 6 months, you met those ones again. So you know what you get at the end of the year.
I have a rabbit that have lived in this farm for about 10 years, and it has been producing. But the only challenge, the production drops. That's the only challenge. But that rabbit continue kindling.
Here I have mint leaf, and you may wonder why we plant it beside the cage. Now mint, we have understood something about the mint. It helps to repel rats, and that's why we planted it here. So we planted it at the corners of our cages, mint leaf, and you could see it in a container here. And so we've planted them around the farm so that they can help also to repel rats. Because like I said, rats always have a way of wanting to be around rabbit cages because of feed.
Rabbits are known to be very social creatures and live in large groups called colonies. Domestic rabbits need a regulated environment to protect against heat exhaustion. Wild rabbits create their own homes by tunneling into the ground and include woods for nesting and sleeping.
The rabbits are such that they love quiet environments. They don't love noisy places. They like places that are quiet and calm. They don't like being kept and then fed at random. They need that care and attention. They also are so beautiful that they can identify you, the owner, in terms of your body smell. They do that too. Their sense of hearing is very sharp. And a lot of people have been making a very, very old, silly mistake. They hold rabbit from the ear. But that's very, very wrong, because the ears have veins. So you don't hold the rabbit from the ear, or you hold it from the shoulder, from the back. That's how you pick a rabbit.
Rabbit farming is an age-long practice that has served as a major means of livelihood, sources of data for scientific research, and aesthetics for the nature lovers.
Most of the common diseases we used to experience here are the diarrhea. Sometimes they have eye problem. Then mange. Just of recent, I've experienced it with these winners. So I have to buy anticoccidiosis and start administering them the drugs.
Rabbit farming has been acclaimed to be cost-effective and lucrative. This is because the feeding and management cost of the rabbit is quite manageable, owing to the fact that rabbits are herbivores and Plateau State is a state blessed with high vegetation.
Rabbits are also herbivorous, and we see them as mammals too, because the young ones, the kids, they breastfeed. They eat grasses too. In terms of feeding them, rabbits eat concentrate. They eat hay, dry hay, which is their basic food. They eat fresh grasses, they eat some fruits. They have healthy leaves too. So in terms of keeping rabbits are, I think, are easy to keep in terms of feeding, because you have alternative feed to play around with in terms of rabbits, unlike other livestock. That's the beauty about them.
This is Casey White. We give the rabbit to boost their appetite. You know, rabbits are types of animals that sometimes they get themselves off feed without no apparent reason. So in that situation, whenever we discover that, we try to give them a booster that will boost their appetite. So now we pick. This one is an intramuscular injection. Yeah, it's a deep intramuscular injection. Now, while she restrained, then I try to find appropriate place to inject. When you are injecting, you aspirate. If there are any, then it's okay.
For over 4 decades, Nigeria's economy has heavily depended on crude oil exports. The oil boom of the 1970s led Nigeria to neglect its agricultural and light manufacturing industries. In 2002, oil and gas export account for more than 98% of export earnings and about 83% of government revenue.
The farming business is one that continually seeks methods that are cost-efficient, cheap to maintain, breed prodigiously, and feasible, considering the demand and supply chain.
I've been into the rabbit farming for 4 years now. I've been doing well with these small numbers and they are really paying. The prices depend on the size. The winners sometimes 3,500 to 4,000, and the adult depend on the size, from 4,000 upward. There's one here, they priced it at the price of 20,000. I refuse to sell it because it's the only male Angora I have. I say I'm not selling. They bake me at the price of 20,000. I refuse to sell.
If you have anything good, definitely people will look for you. So here, people see our products with others and then ask, why did you buy this rabbit? Just refer them, and you hear people calling you, are you Mr. This? Okay, I need rabbits. Are you this and that? So that's the way it goes here.
Rabbit farming in Plateau State became very popular within the last few years, with big and small-scale farmers collaborating to boost its productivity in the state through developmental initiatives by government and supporting agencies.
The major thing that the Ministry of Agri does is to help conscientize farmers, sensitize farmers, that we have a macro livestock rabbit, that it has economic value, that has nutritional value, and also have means of creating job opportunities to youth. So this is what we do. So our activity is centered most especially on extension services, and then giving consultancy. You consult us to tell you what you need to do about the rudiment of the production. So these are the key things we do. and then how to also raise the livestock.
Rabbit can also be referred to as man's little helper, as they most serve as specimens for medical treatment tests. They aid scientists in discoveries, research, and general testing.
Rabbits are good models for scientific researchers. Okay, you get to see most especially we use the bunnies. Okay, bunnies are baby rabbits. Okay, so you get to have those baby rabbits, and they are useful for testing products. They are also models for also evaluating disease process in scientific research. So you can inoculate organisms within rabbits, and then you get to see how the symptoms and the signs of those diseases gets to be manifested. So you can use them for study purpose, which has helped the research world. They have also been used in generating antibodies, okay, antibodies that are being used to create vaccines to fight against certain diseases in humans. So rabbits are very good models for doing that.
Rabbit farming stems from a number of reasons, of which health is paramount. According to research, rabbit is one of healthiest and most environmentally friendly meats you can eat.
The health benefits of rabbit meat is a meat that is good for consumption for individuals, let's say, that are diabetic. Okay, rabbit meat has 0 carbohydrate, has 0 calories. So for a patient that is diabetic, rabbit meat is a meat that is advisable for consumption. It's a meat that also helps in reducing the chances of development of what we call the type 2 diabetes. Okay, it also has a component in it called the linoleic acid. This linoleic acid helps with prevention or with the reduction of obesity in individuals. So that in itself also helps with the reduction of chances of developing diabetes. So, and then for people that want to go into some weight loss kind of regimen, rabbit meat is your best goal to hit. Now again, when we look at rabbit meat, it also has, we said rabbit meat has low sodium. Okay, so it's a meat that is good for individuals that are hypertensive. We know what sodium plays, the role that sodium plays in hypertension. It pulls water from the system, holds it back, and then makes people's blood pressure to keep going up high. Now, rabbit meat has very low concentration of sodium. Also, because of the linoleic acid in rabbit meat, it's been said that the chances of development of cancers is reduced with rabbit meat consumption, because the linoleic acid plays an important role in preventing the development of cancer. Unlike other meats that have that don't get to have that, patients or individuals are predisposed to development of cancers. Now, rabbit meat also has a low concentration of uric acid, okay, and purines. Now, this uric acid and purines are substances that play a vital role in the development of gout, okay. So with the consumption of rabbit meat, your chances of developing gout is reduced. And then even an individual that gets to have gout, if you convert your meat consumption to rabbit meat consumption, now it reduces your symptoms, okay, and then the severity of the gout that the patient or the individual gets to have. Rabbit meat is a meat that has a low concentration of cholesterol. Now, we all know that the cholesterol in itself has a way of tightening and thickening our blood vessels, which also furthers the chances of hypertension and other cardiovascular diseases. Now, consumption of rabbit meat that has low concentration of this cholesterol aids individual to have a better cardiovascular circulation. Okay, so there's low cholesterol in the system, and then one could get to like function better. So rabbit meat is actually a meat that has great health benefits to individuals, and is a meat that should be well consumed.
For over 4 decades, Nigeria's economy has heavily depended on crude oil exports. The oil boom of the 1970s led Nigeria to neglect its agricultural and light manufacturing industries. In 2002, oil and gas export account for more than 98% of export earnings and about 83% of government revenue.
Many people have different reasons for rearing rabbits. For the rabbit meat lovers, a good number of them also have different ways they enjoy the delicacy.
We started thinking inward again. Now that we have the suya, what can we make? What of meat pie? Okay, we started, and then we said, okay, let's try the meat pie. We tried it and it looked good, and people came, they bought the meat pie, and we went further again to say, okay, after the meat pie, what can we do? And then the shawarma came, we're like, okay, rabbit shawarma, wow, that's good. We tried it, people came and bought, and then I said, okay, let's go on, and then the pizza. So you see, the ideas kept on coming, and I was like, wow, so you could do a lot with rabbit.
Purpose of keeping rabbits, aside meat, they keep it also for the use of manure. In fact, the manure are very good for different type of crops. You can see this is a banana plant. If you look at what happens, it's looking very different because of the rabbit manure. And if you look at my small guava there, already has been fruiting. So I think I encourage people to go into rabbit farming so that the manure can be used. They can get money from the manure. You sell a bag of manure of rabbit for between 5,000 to 6,000.
Delicately and intricately created, rabbits are surely a sight to behold, and animals almost everybody wants and probably needs to have.
We use the rabbit feces as organic manure. I mentioned of the rabbit manure tea, where you soak the manure in water and then you give your plants. That has turned out very exceptional for us. Now, the rabbit urine, you don't apply it directly to plants because of the acid content, but it's very good in terms of also other nutrients that plants need. You could use rabbit urine surprisingly as pesticide. If you have such concentrated urine, you add up the water contents. Instead of 1 to 2, you do 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 as pesticide. And when you're using it as pesticide, you don't spray it in the morning because they're due. In the afternoon is sunny. Pests don't come out during those times. They usually come out in the evenings. So in evening times, let's say around 4 or 5, that's when you spray your rabbit urine. The beauty about it is the immediate result you see. You will notice your plants stay dark green. They have this beautiful, fresh, beautiful look. And one exceptional thing again about using rabbit feces is that it adds the shelf life of your product.
We are appreciative of the fact that you are coming here as a media to help us to enlighten our farmers about what we have as a dream and what the value of the rabbit industry stands for. So this is our mandate, and by the grace of God, this is our prayer that in the next 5 years, Plateau State will be the center of excellence of rabbit production in Nigeria. This is our prayer and our dream.
In Nigeria, rabbit farming offers great opportunities for agricultural entrepreneurs. In general, the farming is pivotal to the economic, medical, and scientific fields that is a very profitable venture in Plateau State and Nigeria as a whole. Therefore, start your rabbit farm today.